All right, guys, we're here today in Austin, Texas at Studio Inc. We're here with Kimie Flores.
Hello.
I'm very happy to have her on the podcast. So if there's anything that I don't know, maybe that you want to tell the people that are watching.
I used to be in a bowling league.
That's awesome.
My mom was just so strict about you need to try everything because how do you know if you're going to like it or not?
Ah.
And I did, and I actually was pretty good at it.
Yeah.
So, hey, there you go.
That's cool. It kind of touches, I mentioned that earlier. A couple years ago, I tried a bunch of different things. You never know what you're going to be good at.
Yeah, what sticks, you know?
Yeah. When you go bowling, do you crush all your friends now?
I do. I have that one first game where I just smash them. And they were because I think when I say things, people kind of just assume I'm just joking all of the time. But they were oh shit, you actually were serious. You're over here just getting strikes. And I was I told you.
That's awesome.
I grew up in the middle of nowhere. So we were hell. We got nothing to do.
Yeah.
Might as well.
Our high school did free bowling games for a while. They just handed out passes, and somehow they had too many passes, and we ended up with a lot of them. So we got a lot of free bowling games one year. It was awesome. Yeah. So I used
just
to
have a party.
Yeah. Well, me and the friends during the summer, we would just go bowling, and have these passes, multiple passes.
In
wait
Beaumont?
wait for shift change and go again. Where you said you grew up in a small town and you were bowling? Were you bowling in that small town you grew up?
It was just for fun. It wasn't anything super crazy. It was more so just, I feel being in a small town, if you don't apply yourself to something, you could end up going in that route of I'm just gonna have kids really quickly early on, or I'm gonna get into drugs. There's not really this weird middle. It just seems I hear that so much,
Yeah.
People kind of fall into those life traps, I guess.
Yeah, traps, paths, thinks that's what they're supposed to do.
Yeah, routine.
Just settle down, all that. But then the creative people were no, we got to get out there. And
that's how I felt. It was me and a couple friends of mine were just out there doing we were painting around the town, and it's so small. My cousin used to be a cop, and he actually noticed my tags and called my mom one time and was tell Kimie to stop painting around the town, and I was literally oh, man, I can't get away with anything here.
Yeah,
it sucks. There's only 2 people.
Yeah, what town is that if you want to share that?
Uvalde, Texas.
What would you say some highlights of your town are?
I'd say recently we had a bunch of artists who were friends of mine that went to go paint a tribute for all of the victims from the tragedy.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt that was such a beautiful way to give back to the town in a very nurturing way and with respect, so that way it kind of allows everyone to kind of heal together.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that art was able to do that, and other people noticed that too. So to me that's amazing, because it's something I've just always done. So now that other people see its capabilities, they're just oh shit, it can actually really help people during really tough times,
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I mean, all art forms, all mediums definitely, and that's cool when you get to see it, especially for the medium that you participate in.
Oh,
yeah.
For sure. It was
cool.
the first time I actually was able to because I grew up doing graffiti and stuff, and that's always fuck the system, punk rock. But it was a way to kind of go about it with wanting to help, instead of it being oh, we're just trying to be dumbass kids or fuck around. So it was cool.
I did some of that too, skateboarding, graffiti type stuff. I always enjoyed cutting out stencils.
Yeah, it's just fun, you know?
Yeah, get real detailed, and maybe I wasn't confident with a spray can, but definitely meeting you and seeing some other people up in here in Austin. It's just wild what some of you guys create with just cannon tips.
Dude, it feels like we're just this weird little dysfunctional family of artists, but it's cool that we understand okay, we know that just what goes into that.
Yeah.
Producing that. And that's the same with tattoos. You know how much goes into producing a really good tattoo,
Mm-hmm.
and all of the factors where you're like checking off these like boxes in your mind, like, did I do that? Did I tell them that? Like, and you're like, oh, you know,
Mm-hmm.
arduous.
Yeah. So how long have you been in Austin?
I moved here back when I was 16 in 2010. So as soon as I graduated from Uvalde, because I mean, I just hated high school. I didn't really like the whole logistics of like all of these, you know, kids in this one spot trying to figure everything out and kind of being assholes at the same time.
Yeah.
So I was like down to just graduate early, went to night school, and wanted to just move here. I always heard this was like the spot where all of the strange and like weird people would just come.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to know a lot about that. I
Yeah.
immediately was like, I want to move to Austin.
Yeah.
And I've just been in the area ever since.
Here in Austin, is there, in the years you said since 2010, and you graduated early, that's pretty gnarly. It's 2013, that's 13 years. What are some gyms that are currently in Austin that you want to get out there that maybe some people to check out?
Well, there is one spot that I feel like they've been like kicking ass because they were a food truck and then they expanded to like an actual like brick and mortar.
Mm-hmm.
And Nessie's vegan, like Mexican vegan food.
Mm-hmm.
That place is legit. Like, you know, when you go to a restaurant and you see the pictures of the food and it looks all like beautiful and perfect, and then you get it and you're like, wait a minute, I think I was catfished with my own food. This place is legit. Like, the food actually looks like the pictures and it's so freaking good.
That means they care about it. If it looks like the picture.
It's so good.
And what's the place called again?
Nisi's vegan and Mexican food.
Do you hike much?
I do. Like, I'll go out with my friend Donovan and we hit up some spots that we can like get to other paint spots. Cause it's always like, I feel like a little adventure just trying to get to the paint spot.
Yeah.
You have to jump a fence or go through a little like way or jump off of something. So just, there's a bunch of spots, like definitely near the Greenbelt and stuff, but I tried to like stick to those where it's a little bit more open, especially since Castle Hill's closed right now.
Yeah, what's going on with that? Because I thought they were tearing it down and building something.
They did tear it down, but they actually moved out towards the airport. So there's a whole new spot out there. Like, it's sick. They've asked me. They talked to Jason too, but like about possibly opening up a shop there.
Oh, like a
tattoo shop.
Oh wow.
Yeah, which I'm still trying to like figure out like if that's the direction that's best, just in general for what I'm doing. But I've been associated with the park for a long time now. It seems like 7 years.
Yeah.
So that's where I got my start when I started painting. You know.
Mm-hmm. I came out here when I was, actually I don't remember, but I have one Spray TX pass.
Yeah, Spray TX,
Yeah.
Those are the homies.
Yeah.
Like, I met those guys. One of my friends from Uvalde sent me like this Instagram post where my friend Heath, who is like one of the owners of Spray TX, at the time was looking for an assistant to help him with the mural that they were bringing Powwow Hawaii here, which is like this big festival that is all around the world. And they were like wanting to do like an Austin, you know, spot.
Yeah.
And I immediately hit him up and was like, I really want to do this. Just keep me in mind. And he was like, yeah, sure. Like, I'll reach out to you when I make my decision. And then I think I waited like an hour and I was like, I don't know if you thought about it, but like, I really like want to like, you know, paint with you. And I think it's super cool. And then he was like, no, for sure. And then I think again, like another hour, I was like, you know, just in case you forgot, like, and he was like, it seems like you really want this.
That's hilarious.
And then we've been friends ever since.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, that's a really cool way to go about it.
Yeah,
it's funny too.
It was so funny because I was like really young, or I was younger, and I was just like, hey, like, you know, just in case, like, I was trying to be so persistent because at the time I was like, man, I haven't spray painted in a minute, and this would be like a really cool experience. And it just changed my whole world. Like, now it's like my job, you know?
Yeah. Well, that brings me to one of my questions. Is there a moment or a time or anything that you can pinpoint when you either decided to become an artist or realized you were an artist?
I've drawn since I was a kid. Like, it was just something I always gravitated towards. And it wasn't until like of course when I was a kid I would like color and stuff like that, but in high school I met my art teacher who was like, hey, like you can totally go to school and learn more about this if you're actually really into it, like because she had saw like at the time I would like skip school and I like wouldn't really like do well, and she kind of noticed like, hey, you don't seem like you're a bad kid, you're just like not really like putting that energy in the right place.
Yeah.
And it was just because I was just so irritated at like that weird like cliche dynamic of a high school, like some coach is teaching you math and hates his job, and you know people aren't really there like with like I guess because they necessarily want to be there, like it's not their passion.
Yeah.
Some teachers you do though, and those are the ones that are like fucking amazing. Like my art teacher, she already was like such a great artist. Like I would hang out with her during lunch and like she would draw like portraits of her sons and like her husband, and I just thought the technique at the time was like it was incredible, you know, and I wanted to just like learn more because like I could draw, but it was like that structure that I just really admired. And she was like, yeah, like I went to school for this and like I learned this and this, and then she taught me that, and I was like, yo, like I want to do that. Like nobody ever was like, hey, you could. And I guess that's so literal that she just was like, hey, like I'll help you if you're wanting to do that. So she did. They noticed that I was actually going to school if I had that extra art class, which was funny, and they were like, well, if you're here, like hell yeah, we'll like get you like in it. So I would take like an art class every day, and it was so awesome because I could just go draw and paint, and she would even put together like with the other art teachers and ceramics teachers like field trips to San Antonio to go check out like the art museum, and blew my mind. Like I just was like, oh my god, like how could I have gone like this far and not even realize this is like available to me, like accessible, you know?
Yeah. Like going to the museum or creating, or both?
Both. Just even like not saying that my parents are super like strict or anything, because they are in their own way, but they're very like traditional, where they just, you know, work to put food on the table and make sure that we all are like good and stuff. But they didn't necessarily like say, hey, you could like be a full-time artist and really be successful. That wasn't necessarily something that went through their mind just yet. So I think like now that they've seen me, they're like, okay, I get it. Do you remember that time where Harry Potter, like some parents didn't allow their kids to watch it because they were like, oh, it's like satanic and magic and whatever. My mom didn't like care about that. She was like, you shouldn't watch SpongeBob. I feel like it'll make you like stupid. Yeah. Because what's it even about? Like he's a sponge, he's in a pineapple, like his friend's a squirrel. Like why are you watching this? And I remember I was like, I fucking love this show. Like it was so funny. I still love it, but
me hoy manoi. Me hoy manoi. You know?
Yeah.
We'll hold it down
Crusty
over here in
crab,
Bikini Bottom.
Pizza. It like stays with you.
Yeah.
That was funny to me. I'm like, my mom didn't even care about Harry Potter.
So I got into SpongeBob as an adult.
Oh.
When I was a kid, I don't think it was, which I'm barely older than you, but I don't think it was a thing, or maybe I just wasn't really watching TV, you know, skateboarding. I was all about the skateboarding, so I wasn't inside watching much TV.
I recently saw that movie Grind again, and it was so funny. It like took me back. Like I was just like, holy crap, I saw that movie when I was like 12.
It's good inspiration for people. Get out there, get a van, take your homies, kidnap them from their bean job.
Oh yeah, working at that shitty fast food spot.
Yeah,
no, I thought what was so strange about that movie was like they're on a mission to like give this guy their tape, and they do, but when they open that bus to put the tape in there, all these tapes fall out. And I was just like, oh my god, like they wouldn't do that now. Like they would be like trying to just like airdrop it to you. Like nobody would be running around with the tape.
Yeah, right. That's like a lost technology. But I have a VCR. Still, I have it. It's outside.
I miss Zunes.
Zunes. I see. I didn't have Zunes. I missed that.
Dude, iPod, like little iPod. I don't know why, like, I have my phone, but it's something just having this little cute, colorful thing, or like the little, like, one you can just clip.
Yeah, it's like a Tamagotchi, but no responsibility. With these murals, you kind of touched on it a little bit, but one amazing work. You did one in my general hometown, Beaumont, which was really cool. I met you out here in Austin, and then you're doing a huge mural in my hometown.
That one was huge. It was like 30 feet.
Yeah.
It was like really big.
Yeah. How did you get into painting the murals?
With that one specifically, so my best friend Jay Muzak, which he made this squiggle that's right there.
Okay.
Incredible artist here in town.
We'll get a picture of it and we'll put it up on the
squiggle.
Yeah.
Courtesy of Jay Muzak. But so he actually was the one who put together the mural festival. And he got in contact with a friend, high school friend from him, because he is originally from Houston. His friend is from Beaumont. They wanted to do something with these old buildings that were there, and you know, nobody has like done anything with them yet. And they just wanted to like kind of bring something new to the town. And he was like, hey, like, I really want you to paint this wall, and I know that you could do it. And he introduced me to my friend, Weir One, who I painted that wall with. And we had never met each other. Like, we met once here at Illfest when we painted, and it was very brief. Like, I went up to introduce myself because I was like, hey, we're going to collaborate. I'm excited to work with you. And at the time, he was like, yeah, cool, like, whatever. And then I went to LA with my boyfriend. And then he calls me because I think it hit him like, oh, crap, we're going to paint this big wall together. And I was like, it's going to be fine. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, we got this.
It flipped roles. Now you're a cool guy.
Yeah, like, he's calling me, like, and I'm just like, it's fine, it's fine. And then we show up. I show up first, and I start painting this wall without him because I immediately, like, the hardest thing for me is to just start the wall. So I just get it started fast and keep that momentum. And I think he's the same way, too. And he was just so surprised that, like, one, I flipped the image on him, and then two, I started without him. And he was like, damn, like, she's, like, more on it than I am. And I think that's how we kind of, like, establish respect amongst each other. Because he was like, well, what? Like, I told you I was coming, and I was just like, yeah, but I don't have time for you to, like, do whatever you're doing to get here. Like, I'm doing my section because it's really big, and I know what I have to do, so, like, you just sit over there. And then he just was like, damn. And then we just had this mutual understanding, like, we need to make this piece, like, really just as best as we can. And then now he's like one of my best friends.
Shout out with Weir One.
Weir One.
How long have you been tattooing or in the business?
Realistically, I started when I was 15. My parents got me a machine because I used to draw a lot, and to them, they just thought I was kind of strange because I just wanted to be in my room drawing all the time. And they were like, girl, you need to, like, make friends. So I had mentioned it, like, hey, I really like tattooing, I want to learn. So my mom just bought me the stuff, and I was tattooing my friends in high school.
You said you were 15. Wow, that was before you graduated early and came out here.
Yeah. I was tattooing people in my room, and it was just so crazy.
Yeah, man. People out there living, I was just skateboarding.
I tried, and I ate shit that one time that royally was like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, I caught every rock. It was
It's like the wobble, the little pebbles of death.
Yeah, I catch every one of them. And then once I started tattooing, I started not doing, like, skating because you got to take care of your hands. And I had a friend that broke his wrist from an easy fall, and he's super solid at skating. So to me, I was just like,
No, that's how I've been with MMA, just because I love fighting.
Yeah.
It's so much fun, and it does a lot for me mentally. But I need my hands. Like, I can't, like, bust my hands up all the time. I, like, barely got my knee going again. I sprained my ACL, and I was just like, that sucks.
And you're tattooing, so since 15.
But I don't count that. I count until, because when I realized that, like, okay, so I was tattooing people, and I had met my art teacher, and I saw that she was, like, really skilled, and she had told me you could go to school and take art classes to get better. I stopped tattooing because I wasn't the best at drawing, so I wanted to just get better at drawing.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of like dove into that and
Nice.
just upped my skills, and then came back to tattooing.
Yeah, that's almost similar to what I did. Homie had a machine pack at a house party, and I was like, well, let me try that. And did one or two on some friends, and then I was like, all right, cool. I'm not going to do that till I know what I'm doing. You know, ended up finding an apprenticeship some years later and went through it. You know, and here we are almost a decade.
Yeah, although like I think apprenticeships are like, you know, hit or miss, I do think they're important. I had one too.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it changed my life and just, you know, set the standard for myself. I think that's why I'm like super diligent now about just like trying to stay on it, you know, the little things.
So through all the years of tattooing, have you gone through many styles? What style would you say you've landed on?
I started doing black and gray a lot, like during my apprenticeship, just because my mentor is like heavily based in black and gray, so I can do that. But what really kind of like made me like go into neo-trad was just the illustrative quality of it. Like that's that weird gap where I can like be like really creative and not like tattoo the same picture of Poseidon that I've seen so many times, like, or the lion with the crown. Like,
Yeah.
I love that neo-trad really provides this like other avenue to like do like a solid tattoo and still be like creative and whimsical at the same time.
Yeah. What setup are you using now?
So I actually am wireless. I use a Cheyenne Soul Nova. It's like this wireless pen that has batteries. So I put batteries in it and just set it up, which has been really helpful because I told you earlier I like snag my cord, or I just don't want anything that's like gonna be near the tattoo touching the ground.
Oh, yeah.
Like at all. And I can't tell you how many times like I've like seen people like use a cord and then they just like accidentally like it hits the tattoo and I'm just like, no.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I can't. That's too much.
Gotta wrap them. Well, I was gonna ask you what you did before tattooing and painting, but honestly, it sounds like you were 12. Like you've been doing this for forever.
Yeah. No, but I've like worked like shitty jobs before. You know, we all work at like the mall or like a grocery store. I think we all need that to kind of like help us get some humility and, you know, be kinder to other people that work service industry or retail.
So through your painting and tattooing, is there a tool that you've bought or acquired that you think was like a game changer that you want to talk about?
One tool that I really think that has been like what the fuck was super random, but just like Bic pins. Like if you can learn how to draw with Bic pins, the level of patience you need just to use those, and then you can learn so much that can like transfer over to tattooing just with the softness, at least for like black and gray and like subtle shading stuff. And you can actually rig it to put it in a Dan Cuban and tattoo with it on paper. Yeah. But yeah, like it's so cheap. I remember I bought some and I just went through every single pin because I was just like, this is really like, I don't know, I felt like I learned a lot just using that tool. And I feel like drawing has been that underlining like medium that keeps everything together. For me at least, like that's the glue, is I have like a really strong drawing background. I've been drawing longer than I've been doing anything else. So using like those pins taught me how to just be really patient with just the most simplest medium. They're so cheap. You can buy like a fuck ton of them, like 12 for like $1.50. But just using that simple material and just some paper, you can like learn so much about drawing and just like being patient, that to me that was like, wow. Yeah. You know, because it wasn't like this crazy high-end thing. It was just like, you know, pin.
Yeah, pin, you know, pin.
Just a pin. Anybody can get one. Like.
Yeah, for sure. I have some friends in Denver. They are solid tattooers, but I've always seen them doing big pins, like on napkins, like handkerchiefs,
yeah,
like
napkins,
material ones,
handkerchiefs.
You know, and like crazy detail, like lowriders and stuff like that, where it's framed.
You can't mess up on those necessarily. Like tattooing, you can't mess up. And I will say the iPad is like spoiling us to where we can just like, you know, delete the layers we messed up on, but like that medium, for it being like just so simple, it is like the closest thing to like tattooing. At least for me, is that because it's like you can only make so many marks where you were like, crap, like I can't like undo that.
Oh yeah, it's just inked.
You just take your time, like you just take your time.
Got a little something for you.
I was looking at this.
Yeah.
So is this from that mural that's on Congress?
No, I don't know what that is. What
Because
this?
it looks like the same, I don't know.
What this is just a shirt company that I
Whoa.
have. It's called Tight Ideas. You seem like I think you did more of the black wardrobe, so I gave you a bleached and then a plain black so you can kind of adjust the fit.
These are fucking cool.
Yeah. And also with the image that's on the shirt is you get a sticker with the shirt of that image. I figure if you like the shirt, you like the image, you know? And they're all individually dyed. I think it's really cool. It's unique. I like to wear unique stuff. Shirts are one thing you can kind of...
I love them. Thank you so much. The
You're very
box.
welcome.
This is all you?
Yeah.
This is good branding.
Yeah. I think it's pretty cool. It perfectly fits 2 boxes or 2 shirts, you know? Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Try to use every
I
bit of
can
it.
take notes from that because I've been wanting to just see what that would look like for me. And this is like a whole new world.
Yeah, like I like to share any little tricks and tips that I have. So anything you need to know, I got you. I'll send you all the links that I got.
Thank you.
Yeah, I guess let's wrap it up. Is there any final notes you might want to shout out to anyone or anything like that?
Smoke weed, listen to Black Sabbath.